This week on Convincing Idiots, oh, you are glad that you hit that play button, ladies and gentlemen. We get to talk about pop culture news such as the Superman picture come out. We have John Malkovich maybe joining the MCU. And we also get our idiot question of the week. What would you name your bar? Well, we're going to tell you what we name ours. And our main event, lead singers of rock and roll. We're going to give you our Mount Rushmore of them. All of that and so much more this week on Convincing Idiots. Stay tuned and let's start the show.
You guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
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 What do you call it again? Convincing Idiots.
Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, yo, yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got to hold poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Awesome.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian Gen X.
And that silence is the waiting for Nicholas. We hear he's going to be here. He's having a butt lift, if I'm not mistaken. The procedure should be quick because he doesn't have much of an ass, so it's not going to take much. And he will be joining us later. Until then, you have us. So
Yeah, Nick went to, we understand, Dean, he went to Canada to get that procedure done, and also to try to catch the Toronto Maple Leafs victory parade, but it just didn't quite work out this time.
oh yeah. Well, you don't want to book those tickets too soon.
Mhm.
He's the living proof of that, actually. So, but again, you have us. The Toronto Maple Leafs might have, shit the bed, but as of tonight, we're filming on Thursday. What is it today? The 9th?
Yes.
And as of this second, as I'm just talking, the clock has run out, and the Cavs have won game 2 in the playoffs. 118-94 against the Boston Celtics.
Wow.
And they're going to go... Well, they're not going to get swept, so that's a plus.
That's right. Cleveland gets home court advantage now. So when this drops, there'll be another game that's played already on Saturday, and then when this drops on Monday, will be game 4 in Cleveland. So, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Cleveland.
There you
go. Some people thought they might even get swept by the number 1 seeded Boston Celtics. But
Well,
they played with some
at
heart
least
tonight.
prevented that.
That's right. That's right.
They have that under their belt.
That's
Now
right.
I've switched it over to the Indians, who are losing 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning
Yeah,
against
but
the Chicago White Sox.
they're having kind of a surprising good season as well.
They are. It's a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I will remind everybody while we're at it here, we'll do Nick's job again and remind everybody who we are. We're a podcast of 3 friends from 3 generations talking all things nerd and pop culture each and every week. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Pocket Cast, wherever you listen, you can find us.
The Mama's Cast.
That's right. Give us a rating and review. Give us a follow or subscribe. Helps others find the show. You might be watching us on our YouTube channels. We're at Convincing Idiots on YouTube. We also have a YouTube music channel where you can listen or watch us there.
Button on the YouTube too. Come on.
Absolutely.
get our numbers up.
Absolutely. Get our numbers up. Absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate that. All show information can be found at two main places. Our Linktree page, just simply Google Linktree Convincing Idiots. It's links to social media, our merch store on tpublic.com. Check us out there. And if you go to one place, go to our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. All show information's there. Links to new episodes, videos, bios, our merch store, ways to sponsor the show. If you do anything at all, tell a friend, right? So if you listen and watch, we appreciate that. Help a friend find us. Help a friend subscribe. We greatly appreciate your support out there. Thank you very much. So, Dean, how are you doing, sir? Besides good sports developments in Cleveland, how are you, sir?
Not great. I just went to put my beer down and it splashed a little bit so I got a little on the iPad here. No, I'm okay. Let's see, what did I do? I got some beer, and it had been jostling around in a van and then in my car. And when I pulled into the baseball game, my son's baseball game is in the back seat. I was going to take it home later that night, and it exploded. One of them cans exploded.
Oh no!
In my back seat. And another one did. Yeah, it was a mess. And then just watching baseball with the kids. Oh, you know what I did? Have you ever had Nepalese? Nepali? The kids say it's Nepali, but I like to say Nepalese.
I don't remember if I ever have. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a pizza place, right?
It's not a pizza place. It's Nepal. Excuse me. See, I just had some today, so some of the
What
leftovers.
is it?
It's called Momo's. Momo's it's in Akron. It's a Nepal restaurant. It's
okay.
It's close to like Indian food.
Okay.
I had a curry dish with lamb, and they ask you, what number you want. You 1 being the lowest spice, 5 being the highest spice. Being the first time, I didn't want to go ahead and ruin, taste. I wanted to see what it was about, so I went mid-range. I went 3.
Mm-hmm.
It was very good, very, very good. Definitely want to go back there. Momo's in Akron. It was very tasty. What else did I do? I think we hung out, didn't we?
I came to Carter's baseball game with you on Monday.
Right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Played well.
It was a losing effort though. It was their first loss of the season, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna blame you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we had a game on Wednesday, and they picked back up their winning ways, and they're back on the train there. He's
Very
like,
good.
Keep that old motherfucker away from my field. I'm like, you're gonna have to be more specific.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It is amazing, some of these baseball parents. The vigor and venom that they have. Yeah. I don't get it. I mean, I get wanting your kid to do well and just seeing them succeed in anything, I guess. But to put pressure and yell and it's just a mess.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. So when my daughter Peyton, she cheered all through middle school and high school, and football, basketball. So I saw a lot of games just to watch her cheer. And you're right, man. I'm just like, these are kids playing sports. Just fucking relax, everybody. Relax. there's a 0.0000 whatever chance that one of these kids is going to do anything significant in sports. A couple
Right.
maybe get a college, scholarship or something, like a small college around the Ohio area,
Yeah.
something like that. That's great. And that's wonderful, right? But just fucking relax, everybody.
Right.
God dang. Yeah.
Stupid.
I'm with you, man. I don't get it. Yep.
Yeah, but other than that, haven't been doing much working. I haven't taken a proper shit in like 3 days. That can't be healthy, right?
No, that's not good. Mm-mm.
No, I need to like maybe jam my finger up there like a knife in a mayonnaise jar.
Sure.
Bang it around and loosen things up, maybe. I don't know. Prune
Maybe.
juice? They say prune juice?
Sure, that could.
I don't know.
It could. Could.
But it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So what about
Yeah.
you? How's your asshole?
That's good. That's
Good.
fine.
Good.
Yeah, doing okay. Stressful week at work, but again, it's more project related stuff like that. Not necessarily pressure that work is putting on me. More self pressure, I guess, if you will. But as you know, beautiful weather. Not today, but
Trust me,
it's
I
nice.
did a podcast with you. You expect perfection.
That's right. God damn
And if
it.
you're not going to get in this podcast, you're damn well going to get into the work at least.
We had some nice days recently here in Northeast Ohio, so got out, got a nice bike ride in this week. So it was nice going out to the game with you on Monday, see Carter play. Just good. Allie and I had a nice weekend together last weekend. We just chilled out on Saturday evening, watched a couple of movies, which we'll talk about here in a minute on Idiot Reviews. Friday, it was a nice evening. I sat on the front porch and watched Unfrosted and chilled out. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And Sunday, we went to see another movie and went out to a nice dinner together, Allie and I. So just nice few days. Of course, this coming weekend is Mother's Day weekend. So by the time this drops, we hope that all the lovely mothers and women out there, grandmothers, mothers to be, mother people acting in mentorships, that sort of thing. Motherfuckers, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hope you had a great weekend with loved ones. We appreciate you and everything you do for us.
Don't speak for me.
Yeah, maybe you gotta call your mom, on Mother's Day. She hasn't heard from you, I don't know, 6-8 months, something like that.
No,
Might be nice.
I did call my mother the other day. She Sunday
Where's
night.
my check?
No, she fell and broke her wrist.
Oh, really? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Oh,
and
no.
and I'm calling. She goes, "Yeah, I got back from the ER today." I'm like, "When did this happen?" Sunday. I'm like,
Oh,
"You
no.
waited a whole day?" She goes, "Yeah, your dad can't drive at night, and I didn't want to bother anybody."
That's a mother. That's
like,
a mother thing.
That's not bothering somebody. You broke your goddamn wrist.
Yeah.
Stupid dogs wrapped her up in the chain, and she fell over. And
Oh no. Oh.
I said,
She
"You
okay?
want me to take care of those dogs? I can do it."
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She'll find out next Wednesday if she has to have surgery.
Oh, I hope not. Okay. All right. Jeez.
I did interrupt
Poor
a
lady.
commercial.
Go ahead.
I did interrupt a commercial today, and my work van is coming out an alley, and I knew they were filming something for a local business. And I mean, it was a whole production with the big cameras and somebody with a megaphone yelling action, and I come pulling up out of that alley, and some lady comes running up next to me. Sir, I thought I got everybody out of here. I didn't see you here. I'm like, I'm just, doing my job here. She's like, well, you're in the shot. I go, well, I just got to turn left and get out of here. She goes, okay, yeah, just go there. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I ruined at least one take. So that's good.
That's all right. That's all right. You ruined many on this podcast over the years, so that's fine. Just spreading
I've kind of made it a habit.
Yeah, spreading the wealth.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, how about some idiot reviews, sir? Have you seen anything over the last week that you wish to mention, good or bad? Go ahead.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be good, but with just telling you about the 2 series finales I watched.
Okay.
I watched the series finale of The Bad Batch. They ended that after 3 years.
Yeah.
It's good. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's not necessarily a kid's show. Brian, I know you haven't watched it yet.
Not yet, no.
But it's a solid. The first episode starts on the day that Darth Vader becomes Order 66. That's when it starts.
Okay.
And then it goes 3 years after that. Maybe they skip a couple years, ahead between the seasons, but and then it's a good ending. I don't want to give too much away because like your thinking is, well, you have to explain why you don't see these characters going forward in Star Wars things.
Mhm.
But they do a very good job explaining that with whether you have to die or you have to do whatever. They do a very good job explaining that. So yeah, it's I definitely recommend that if you're a Star Wars fan. I did try to watch that after that was done. I tried to watch that new Tales of the Jedi. Did you watch that?
Not yet. Was it Jedi or Empire?
Tales of the Empire.
Was it the
I'm sorry,
Empire?
yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet. No.
I turned it off after the first 5 minutes because I didn't understand what I was watching. It seemed like it started in the middle. Like it was in the middle of a battle scene of characters I didn't know. They weren't explaining anything. They didn't explain whoever anybody was. So I'm like, what do I care what I'm watching? This is just a bunch of, which is cool action. It's shot well. It's done like the Bad Batch, that sort of animation.
Okay.
But I just didn't care. Like I had watched, a lot of TV at that point, so I might go back to it. And the other one, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I finally got caught up, and I watched the series finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Are you familiar?
That is on my list. I have not watched one episode, believe it or not. As
You
much
have
of a
20
Seinfeld fan I am. I know.
You have 24 years of a Curb
Jeez,
to
Pete.
catch up on. I mean, they took like a couple years off in between seasons here and there, so it's not like I don't think there's 24 seasons of it.
Okay.
I mean, it's close. It's probably 20 some, but
Wow.
I know they took a couple years off in between stuff. So, but I'd listened to while I was watching this final season, I'd listened to a podcast Jerry Seinfeld did, and he said that he was happy that he was able to fix the ending of Seinfeld with this series finale of Curb, and it totally did. Like, I mean, it didn't like retcon anything, but it definitely mentally, and it fixed it, and it gave you the feels.
Okay.
Fixed it. Like, it was very cool. Made you smile. If you hated the Seinfeld finale for the whole, just the whole thing about it, it definitely poked fun at it, and it definitely made you smile. So
Okay. All right.
hell, if you don't actually watch anything, like if you don't care for Curb, but you're just a Seinfeld fan, watch the finale.
Okay.
It'll catch you up of like why he's there, and if you know the premise that he's just a shitty guy, like he's just a cranky, shitty guy that it's really funny. But I do recommend the series.
Okay.
And then today, man, just when I don't could get any better, Brian, I'm watching. I have 2 episodes left to catch up on Stranger Things. So I've watched the third to last episode.
Okay.
Holy shit, it's the best episode to date of the 4 seasons. I don't know what's in store for the last 2 episodes of this season, but man, that was badass.
Guitar scene? No.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Yep.
No.
It's okay. Nope.
It was where they explained the guy who the bad guy is, his origin, and how it mixed with the 11.
Okay.
Where he was number 1.
Oh yeah. Yes. Right.
Yeah, like we kind of called it. Like we looked at each other and kind of called it leading up to it, but it's still the way they got there. The twists they took, the turns, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my favorite episode so far.
That's a good season. Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
I wasn't digging the beginning of it, man. The beginning of the fourth season, I was like, okay, this is not exact. Like, they took a while to get to like action.
They did.
Like, they give you a few things here and there, but it could have been sped up a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep.
So, what about you? Well, I just heard you watch a bunch of movies.
I saw a few things. Yeah. So, first of all, I did start watching X-Men '97 on
Oh, okay.
Disney. I like it. So
Yeah.
I'm only a couple episodes in. I'm trying to avoid social media. I see all these things are happening, so it's a lot of stuff going on with that series. But it's good. I mean, if you watched any of the original series back in the '90s, then it definitely has that feel to it. The animation looks very similar. The voices. It's an interesting storyline. If you're an X-Men fan, I think you'll enjoy this. So check that out on Disney. And as I mentioned, Unfrosted, I saw that Jerry Seinfeld. Have you watched it yet?
Not yet. I've been trying to find time.
Okay.
With the other stuff I know I wanted to finish up this week, it kind of put on the back burner, but I am going to watch it this week
Okay.
or this weekend.
I mean, I won't spoil. I mean, you get the premise of it with the previews and everything else that's out there. I mean, you kind of get what's going on. It's okay. I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as I thought that I might, but it definitely is a.
So lower my expectations slightly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but overall, it's fun. It's a fun movie. I mean, it's not taking itself serious at all. Clearly, some terrific comedic talent all throughout this thing. It's shot well.
Yeah.
It's very. I like the whole retro feel in the '60s. So again, I'm not going to say it's bad. No, overall, it's good. It's good. It's fine. It's an entertaining thing. It's like an hour and a half.
How is Hugh Grant?
Oh, he's fantastic. He's the best thing in this thing.
Dude, when I
think.
saw him during COVID, they did that that British mockumentary.
Yeah.
About I can't
End of the
remember.
World?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he played that old man scientist or some shit where you didn't even know it was him for the first few talking head spots.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'm like, why hasn't this guy not been doing straight up comedy this whole time?
Yeah, he's probably the best thing.
Timing's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. Straight man, but funny, and some interesting, fun cameos, which I won't spoil here. But again, it's definitely worth a watch for sure. Allie and I rented Monkey Man on Amazon Prime. Now, this is still like a higher rent right now, like $20, but we equated the fact that we're not going out and spending money this evening. We're going to order in some Chinese and sit here and enjoy a couple of movies. Man, really enjoyed that. It's super
Was it
violent.
worth the $20?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we would have paid to go see it in the theater. It's sort of on the downside of theater showings right now. So it just kind of varies, odd times to try to catch it in the theater still. But we thoroughly enjoyed that movie. Again, it's violent. I mean, if you're not a violent movie fan, don't rent this and watch this here. But if you like the John Wick type movies where somebody's just out for revenge and I'm going to mow through way too many people that somebody actually could,
Right.
But it's a lot of fun, very well done. So I think it's Dev Patel, I think it is.
I believe that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah. Just great. A lot of great casting.
He was on the Newsroom back in the day with Jeff Daniels.
Okay. Yeah, very good. Yeah, this is a whole different type of role for him. But just enjoyed that. Right along the same line, Boy Kills World, and this is the Bill Skarsgård, very similar type thing where another revenge type movie.
Sure.
This is produced by Sam Raimi. This is still in the theater, and we decided to go out and kind of an impromptu watch this movie. We were literally the only two in the theater out in Kent,
Oh, you don't have to
but
say
yeah,
the city because I think you were the only two in the theater in the
could
country.
be very well could be. Fall Guy released and everything, but we wanted to go see Boy Kills World. It's interesting. We didn't enjoy this one quite as much as Monkey Man, but Bill Skarsgård, again, very good action
Would
hero.
you say he has it?
Yeah, very good. Very good. They did show the preview of he's going to be in the Crow reboot as well.
Yes,
That looks
I've
actually
heard
very
this.
good.
Okay.
That looks very good. So, again, if you like revenge type movies, rent Boy Kills World. My opinion, you could wait till it comes out on streaming. It's a little bit lower price, or just wait till it's out there. But check it out. And I finished the Schitt's Creek finale.
Okay.
Got through that. Just so fucking good, man. Just so good. They really wrap it up nicely. I'm not going to spoil it in case you haven't seen it, but they wrapped up a couple of years ago. But I mean, I was tearing up watching this thing, man. Just
Really?
again, it's very Seinfeld-like for me in the sense of, I mentioned this before, that every episode, well written, well acted, easily consumable, makes you laugh. It's a feel-good story. Just all the way around was great. So if you dropped that off years ago, didn't finish that series, I recommend you go back and if you haven't watched it at all, start working through it on Hulu. It's just fantastic. And we'll talk more about this during the some of the news stories here. But I watched the Tom Brady roast on Netflix.
Yeah, I want to get to that too.
Yeah, so this is it's long though, man. It's like 3 hours long.
Oh,
It was streamed live on Sunday, so Netflix is getting more into the live streaming. They piloted that a little bit. They're going to have more. John Mulaney is going to have some live episodes over the next few days or so. He's in Los Angeles, I guess.
Everything happens in Los Angeles or something like that.
That's it.
I think it already happened. I think it happened this past weekend at the comedy festival.
Okay. So I'm interested in that as well. So we'll talk more about the roast, but it's up and downs for me. But for a live streamed event, it was good. I mean, it was definitely no holds barred. I mean, they definitely let Tom Brady have it. But so I'll mention a couple of things here later in the episode. That's it. It's a lot of stuff. Over the past
fun
week.
when you can sit there and roast your friends. That's kind of what this show does a lot. Us picking fun at each other.
Sure.
There was nobody that better at roasting though than Aaron Blake. Aaron Blake, growing up, could bust balls with the best of them. Now he doesn't bust balls; he busts savings. Because Aaron Blake with Erie Insurance Company. Let me tell you about him, Brian. Erie Insurance is they provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. And Aaron exemplifies both of those. Honesty, decency, well, trust me, and affordability. But that was back in the day. He needed the money. Let me tell you, Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And when you do, tell him to tell you a joke. He's got a lot of them. And that the idiots sent you.
Very good, sir. All right, we're going to take a break. Drink to a Cavs victory.
Yep.
And hopefully a Guardians victory as well. And we'll come back with some. That's okay. And we'll come back with some pop culture headlines and our Ask an Idiot question of the week, also tied to drinking, perhaps a little bit.
That's shocking.
That's right. So take a drink with us and come back after the break. All right, welcome back to Convincing Idiots, segment 2.
Yo.
Yes, sir. Pop culture headlines, Dean.
What do we got?
Some exciting developments and some new content that'll be coming out here in the future. I don't know if you saw this or not, but The Office is getting an unusual spin-off. Have you heard of this yet?
I heard they were working on something. I have not heard any of the details. Let's hear it.
Interesting premise. So this takes place in the same universe as The Office, but has nothing to do with the original characters. So this is not a reboot. This is not a continuation of The Office characters, but the documentary crew behind the scenes that shot The Office, them say they filmed it that way to where they're shooting people in an office, not shooting people, filming people in an office, right? That crew is moving on and doing another documentary in this universe here. So it's going to take place. Let's see here. They're doing. It's going to be on Peacock, so it's already been picked up here. And let's see, going on to a Midwestern newsroom is what this is, right? So, all new cast, but certainly it's going to be filmed in a similar way as The Office and all that. Interesting concept.
Yeah.
Just a way to just spin it off from the. And I'm glad they're not. Honestly, for me anyway, I'm glad they're not trying to reboot The Office or have some type of tired continuation or something like that. The show had a good run.
Story.
Yes.
You can't beat it.
Exactly. So, but I'm interested in this. I'll check this out. I mean, I did like the way it was at the time anyway, it seemed it was a fairly original concept and how that sitcom was shot, So, yeah, I'll check that out. Superman news. Dean, I don't know if you saw this or not, but
I did.
The first picture of David Corenswet, the new actor who's playing Superman in the suit for the first time, appeared as a teaser on X from DC. And there's plenty of pictures out there. You can find this here. Looks good. I don't know. I think he looks great in the suit. I like the suit. I like
do too.
The S. We talked about the S a couple weeks ago.
If you look closely, the underwear on the outside is back. The belt is back.
Yep.
Now there was one of the co-creators or co-writers, I believe, for the Henry Cavill Man of Steel movie.
Okay.
Said something on Twitter. He was like something, don't quote me, but something he was criticizing the first look. He showed a split screen of that look and when they did the very first look of Henry Cavill, and Henry Cavill was like, chest out, arms, like he was going in for battle, and then this new guy is putting his boots on like a tired old man. Which I understand that guy's argument. I mean, I still like the picture. It was I like they're kind of probably giving you the feel like this is a Superman that has been around. Like he has been Supermaning for a couple of years now. This isn't, they're not doing an origin story.
Don't need it.
Nope, don't need it. They're coming in where he's been fighting aliens and crime for a couple years now. There's other superheroes known to everybody. You're coming into a universe. And I think that's what this picture shows. It just shows that he's like, all right, time to get to work and put my goddamn boots back on. Because you see this suit is a little charred, like he's been fighting in this scene, whatever it is. And he didn't have time to clean it up, so he just throws it back on. He's back out to whatever's going on behind him with that orb, being shot or shooting or whatever is happening. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be good. I think it's got a good supporting cast. It's got some interesting characters. I like the fact, like you said, we're just jumping in this thing. We don't need to see.
Let's do it.
Baby Superman crash. Everybody knows the fucking story. If you're a remote comic book fan, the gist of Superman.
If you want to do a very quick flashback for a scene that
Sure.
between his parents, fine.
Sure, opening
Because-
credits or something like that. That's fine. Yes, I mean his parents are going to be in this. So Mom, Pa, Kent
Yeah.
are going to be in this.
Did
movie,
you see the
so they do
actor that
exist.
they're having playing Paul Kent? I can't remember his name, but he's a character actor. You've seen him in a bunch of stuff.
Yes,
Really good character actor. Heavier set.
hmm
He's not, what we've portrayed in the past with a handsome dad. Kevin Costner-esque.
Yeah.
Paul Kent is, which again, I'm not kicking on Kevin Costner. I loved Kevin Costner in the role. I
was
think
good.
I wish they would have given him more to do. Like I would have liked to have. If you're going to do an origin story, do an actual origin story. Let's see a little bit of Smallville. Let's see more of that. But you got what you got with Kevin Costner. This one he's going to be an old farm dad. And the actor
fine.
is fantastic. I should look up his name, but I'm too lazy. But he's fantastic in everything I've seen him in, and I'm looking forward to him in this role.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, it looks very good. And let's see, July 11th, 2025. Yes, sir. Also exciting comic book movie news. I think anyway, Dean, this came out. I just saw this today. Big casting in the new Fantastic Four movie, announcing John Malkovich is joining the cast of the new Fantastic Four movie. Don't know who he's playing yet. It's an undisclosed role. So there are some interesting speculations out there. Now, this particular article, I think it was at Variety.com, stated that some buzz could be Galactus, the huge nemesis.
That would be good.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but you can't beat him. If you're going to have John Malkovich be one of these big bads, and one of the biggest bads,
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to let him to run through, a couple movies. It's John fucking Malkovich. Come on.
That's possible. Also suggest maybe Wizard, which I'm not as familiar with this
I
villain,
am
but
not
he leads
familiar.
a supervillain version of the Fantastic Four. And this is interesting too, that Beyonder.
Does the wizard he doesn't fight like there's no such like pinball situation going on, is there?
No, not
Okay.
for that one, no. And the Beyonder. So the Beyonder, you may or may not know, was a huge villain. He was the villain that they created that pulled together the whole Secret War series in the comics that they're going to
We're
make a
getting
movie out
towards
of.
there, so it would
Yes.
make sense.
He's an all-powerful being and is really one of the most powerful beings in the universe. He literally pulled pieces of planets together and teleported in the heroes and villains just by kind of just making it happen. So that would be an interesting cast as well. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to be Doctor Doom. I don't think he would make a good Doctor Doom necessarily. Maybe I don't know.
No. You gotta have.
He's more of a.
Well, you gotta have somebody Reed Richards' age,
That's true
right?
too.
Because
You're
they
right.
were
That's right.
friends.
That's right. They were college roommates, I
Roommates.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to be somebody that's what's his name's age.
Pedro Pascal.
And John
So,
Malkovich is slightly older.
That's good though. He's a great actor, and I think he'll definitely bring something to the Marvel
Everything he
universe.
does.
That's right, 100%. A new Lord of the Rings movie is in development, Dean. So, are you a
Don't
Lord of the Rings
spoil
person?
anything. I haven't watched any of them, so don't spoil anything.
Not your thing.
Not really. Again, back in the day when they first came out, I could not be bothered by watching a 3-hour movie.
Mm,
So when I hear that, I'm like, now I could. I just haven't got around to it. It's nothing that I'm opposed to.
Mhm.
I'm assuming I would like it. I just haven't got to it.
Yeah, I wasn't. For me, I wasn't as big like in the whole, dragon type mythology. I like it, but I prefer more of the, science fiction and horror and different superhero stuff. But it was a solid trilogy, the original trilogy for sure. One of the stars was Andy Serkis, who played Gollum in that very well.
Every other mocap character in the 21st century.
That's correct. Caesar, etc., the Planet of the Apes. He will be directing this movie and reprising his role as Gollum. This is going to be The Hunt for Gollum, coming out in 2026. I'm not seeing much about the story. I think they're still
Did he disappear, or is somebody just trying to hunt him like an elk?
I don't know, honestly. I think it sounds like it's probably after that trilogy, and Gollum is because he wasn't killed.
No,
right?
Okay.
So somebody is hunting for Gollum for some reason, and they're also making a separate animated movie, Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim. I'm probably mispronouncing it.
That wasn't even a real word, what you just said, so I have to assume you mispronounced it.
Probably right. Rohirrim.
I wouldn't even. Well, I'll give you props for even attempting. So.
And this is going to be a prequel to The Hobbit, 200 years before the events of The Hobbit. So, we'll see. So, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, a lot of people are, certainly a couple interesting things in development for sure. I mentioned the Tom Brady roast. So, again, that was a big thing on Netflix this past Sunday. It's now on there to stream on demand. Kevin Hart hosted it. One of the highlights for sure was comedian Nikki Glazer. She had what a lot of people are saying was the best set of the evening, and I tend to agree.
Funny.
Yeah, she was very, very good. And for me, then you had actual former football players, and that's they're not stand-up comedians,
right.
So they were
have
trying their best.
Stuff
and a couple surprise guests and things that I won't spoil if you haven't seen it. But again, it was okay. One thing I learned: a lot of football players, they do like to joke about people being gay. That is for sure. Like, it reminded me like going back into high school. That was sort of an insult for somebody to tease that they were gay or something like that, or I don't know. But I know we kid about it a little bit too ourselves, for that matter. But there was a lot of that going on. But again,
get close enough. I'll show you kidding.
I have noticed, though, Dean, is that there's some people out there that maybe lean a little bit more to the right. Are saying some things like, "Well, it's about time we have some raw comedy out there, and we don't have the woke police, stopping this type of stuff," and almost using it sort of we talked about this. Let's get back after the libs a little bit. Yeah, sort of like that with Jerry Seinfeld. That was sort of, Seinfeld was saying that, the too much PC and too much far left wokeness is hurting TV sitcoms and all that type of stuff. Well, this is all the way out of the side. So these guys and women got up there, and whatever they wanted to say, they just said it on live television. Nothing was edited. Nikki Glazer did said there was sort of an agreement that, let's not go into his kids, don't make fun of his kids or their situation and things like that. But
that makes sense.
There were definitely a lot of jokes with about Gisele Bundchen that he was not expecting, and he could tell he was very uncomfortable with some of the jokes that was going on about his divorce and different things. But
out of all the people, I was surprised they were going to do have him be roasted, because when you think of somebody that's like that gets the joke about themselves and doesn't take themselves too seriously, he's not the number one person that comes to mind. He's not even the number one football player that would come to mind.
Yeah, I guess it was something I read an interview with I think he's the head of comedy on Netflix or something like that. I guess they had this in the works a while ago before he retired, before he came back from retirement. and they had to
Oh,
shelve
wow.
it for
Okay.
a while until
Yeah.
he retired. They didn't want to do it while he was still playing in the NFL. But definitely got a lot of publicity, that's for sure. And
Sure.
I will say for him, I think the jokes about himself he did take pretty well, but he definitely got uncomfortable about his
Other
ex-wife and
people.
stuff like that. Yeah, and he was not tolerating jokes about Robert Kraft.
He was
a little
not.
bit.
I did see
you
that
mentioned
clip.
that.
Yeah.
Other than that, he seemed to do okay. So I don't know, but this is not our Ask Anita question yet. But I'm just interested in your thoughts. What do you think? Is it are some people right in the sense of that people can just get up there and we don't have the woke police and all that, or do you agree with? You can say whatever you want now. There's nothing stopping people from saying what they want to say now, but you just have to live with whatever repercussions happen with jokes that you're trying to tell. That's as simple as that.
That's the reality of it. The actual reality of it, you can say whatever you want, but there are going to be, you have to live and stand behind your joke and be convictions. But first, let me argue the idea of calling it the woke police. Nothing upsets me more. I get the sentiment, but it's more of the idea of like when we've made the idea of woke being a bad word. I mean, simply the woke meaning I've awakened to other people's feelings, that other human beings have feelings.
That's right.
That's essentially what the word woke means. And to argue about that is arguing that fuck them, I shouldn't have to worry about other people's feelings. Now, if what that's meaning, and this is the way I take it, is just being an asshole to somebody. Just saying things and doing things that are just fucking wrong. Jokes, totally different story. If you're doing it in the idea of jokes, I've always said it, there's nothing off limits.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is on the table. To me, there's nothing taboo when it comes to jokes. Can you do a shitty joke and it doesn't land right? Sure, it happens to all sorts of comedians. But the idea that that it's this harrowing thing to have a roast. They've been doing it for years,
right?
And they're going to continue to do it. Comedians have. You can't go on the Tonight Show and tell a blue joke, right? That you used to back in Johnny Carson's day. But it's little things like that. You can still go into a club and tell all the shit you want. You can go on a paid subscription app like Netflix, like Max, and tell these off-color blue jokes. Some people said, Carlin couldn't have got away with what he did. Of course he could have. First of all, he knew how to craft a joke that made it so goddamn smart that you knew as soon as you heard it, fuck, that's A, funny, B, true, and C, I just goddamn learned something. So, right. I mean, so that's why Carlin's the master. But the idea, again, I'm all over the place with this, but I think the main point that I'm trying to get is that the woke police is a silly term. You shouldn't be walking around going, come on, who wants to be nice to somebody? Fuck them. Come on. It's absurd. I honestly forgot the original question, so.
No, it's just your thoughts on it. Was just the general thoughts on the idea about wokeness with a special like this, as if you can't say you can't have raw comedy without people getting offended. Well, you can't.
If you are easily offended, which there are people out there, and I don't blame them. I mean, you aren't listening to me say that because you shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Right.
You shouldn't.
Don't fucking watch it.
Yeah. You shouldn't turn on and go, what's a roast? Do a little fucking research before you turn on something like that. Know what a roast is. all those Comedy Central roasts, for the past 25, 30 years have been really fucking rough. Some of them just like who was it? Who was the guy that I can't remember the guy they had? It wasn't Charlie Sheen. Anyways, but it was bad. Like, it was just bad. Like, none of his friends showed up. It was a bunch of comedians that didn't know him, and just seemed, watching it, you're going, wow, this just seems like just people just insulting him. The point of roast are supposed to be your friends making fun of you and the whole deal. But yeah, the roasts, you should know what you're watching, and that goes for anything, any movie, any TV show. Yeah, somebody shouldn't go on the news and go, F this guy and F these people. No, that you shouldn't do.
Right. But
if you're telling jokes, I don't think there's anything off limits.
Yeah, I'm with you, and you're right. To the thought of, I can say what I want to say, and you're not allowed to get offended, or I'm going to call you a woke person and make fun of you because you're offended by a joke that I said. I mean, that's bullshit too. Well, right. That's what it seems like to me, that some people want to be able to say is that you're not allowed. Well, apparently some people are, right. That's the whole. Someone's offended, and they're
just as
out
bad
against
as the people they're arguing with.
I agree.
It's just a mirror image.
That's right. And I would argue there's plenty of, as we talked about last week as well, there's certainly plenty of very racy comedy out there. It's out there. You could find it, right?
But there's also a lot of clean jokes and clean comedians who are funny as shit that are on a goddamn Mount Rushmore comedians.
That's right.
That don't work blue.
That's right.
And make a damn good living, or as funny as anything. So you're not limited because you don't like, these offensive words and stuff. If you don't like the offensive words, yeah, okay, that's cool. Just don't watch it.
That's right.
There's a lot of fucked up motherfuckers like us that like that sort of comedy, that find it entertaining. So we'll go watch that. I mean, I guess the benefit for us is we go watch that and then still also enjoy the non-blue comedy. So, but
I'm like you. I like good comedy. Good comedy is not it takes many shapes and forms. It doesn't have to be necessarily dirty and offensive, but some of it is funny. It's like I did laugh out loud several times during that roast, and there's not many things these days that makes me laugh out loud, right?
Look at Seinfeld, who had the rant about woke killing the comedy and whatnot. He doesn't work blue. Like I think he says like one bad word in his set.
Right.
He's a relatively clean comic. So.
All right. Well, if you just relax out there, everybody. Just
take a fucking joke.
That's right. Well, let's get into our Ask an Idiot question of the week here. I'd say you came up with a question tied to drinking this week, if you will.
All right.
Yes.
So, question of the week, Brian. Mm-hmm. When you're drinking, which testicle do you pinch the hardest? Go. No, that's not the question. Okay.
No.
That was next week.
I'm offended.
You should be, because you have to really, at your age, you got to really reach down to grab one of those bastards.
Yeah, I keep stepping on them. You know what I'm saying?
She tripped and broke a hip. All right. So the question of the week, Brian, very simple. If you had your own bar, what would you name it? And you can also add, if you want to, or you just stick with the name, but you also add, is there a theme?
Yes. So I thought about this earlier, and I came up with...
And you can have a couple answers to this.
My main one I had was, I like nostalgia. As you know, I love the 80s. I think it was a great, just a fun decade to grow up in. So in the 80s, I was, 6th grade to 12th grade. I graduated in 1987, so just a great decade. so many advances in technology and all that, but we still had. It was just a lot of fun. Movies and pop culture, everything. Love it. So I would have like an 80s theme, and that's fairly common these days because a lot of Gen X people have bars and so there's a lot of retro arcades and different things out there, which I think are cool. But I couldn't help myself. I would still have something 80s theme. So I thought like something with a 1984 tavern might be fun. So it would have sort of a dual meaning. They could have the whole combination of like Big Brother and George Orwell 1984.
And like your sign could have two eyes kind of peering.
Yeah,
I like that.
Right. So you sort of have some things that have that vibe, but then you also have the 1984 era nostalgia, which in my book was one of the prime years of 80s pop culture in 84 with all the great albums and movies and different things that came out. I would envision having like, movies and different things playing, and that would just be that whole thing, but have that subtle darkness thing. And whether it be, foods, names or drink specials and different things that's sort of around there where you're sort of, Big Brother watching you type thing as well.
Right.
So, yeah.
Ooh, you could have like your martini could be named the Michael J. Fox.
Sure.
Because it's shaken, not stirred. So I have a theory that the number 4.
You just make that up?
Huh?
You just make that up? Wow. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a theory that the number 4 in years are the best years of the decades. 74, 94, 2004. I think if we did research, we might, there might be something to that.
I like that, yeah.
Because you just get the decade just getting its feet under it. And...
Yep.
All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so as you would expect from me, Brian, I want a theme restaurant, and you don't see them that often. So what is my theme going to be? Could you take a guess?
I'm going to guess time travel.
Oh, no. You're going to walk in and hear Hulk Hogan's theme music in my professional wrestling themed bar.
I like that.
Your little booths could be little wrestling rings. You're gonna have nostalgia and boots on, where football bars, you have like the football and the trophies and stuff. I want belts and I want boots and the whole deal. On the TV, there's going to be a couple TV. You'll be able to watch other sports, but like there's always going to be like a WrestleMania playing in the background, and waiters going to have the old school referee with the bow tie.
Okay.
Right? The name?
Yeah.
And the name of this? Wrestling with Sobriety. Huh?
Very good.
I might, if woke people might find that offensive. Wrestling with Sobriety.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
You got another one?
That's the main one I thought of, man.
Okay.
Was that 80s? Do you have another one?
I do. I have one more. This is a functional drinking, where you have the tap walls, where you can do your own, tap wall stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's going to be a tap wall restaurant, and it's going to be all indulgent drinking station.
Good. Because
who wouldn't want to drink with AIDS?
Ah, boy.
I'm just saying, it's. I love the idea of pouring your own beer, and you can overindulge maybe, but
sure.
You come drink with AIDS. The punchline to that joke actually would have worked better with Nick here. There was a whole thing in my head.
Yeah.
But he's not here, so I had to just say it myself. So,
what I would like as well, this popped in my mind, a Twilight Zone themed bar, I think would be very cool as well. You can call it like the Nick of Time Lounge or something like that.
Ooh,
after one of the episodes, and just that's it. It's the whole theme of just the black and white classic episodes of the Twilight Zone. You could have all kinds
Do you
of
know how
crazy,
the,
fun decor and everything else, and get the proper licensing, of course. But they'd be
the
really
tiki
cool.
bar and the tiki bar in Cuyahoga Falls, where
Yeah,
you sit at the table and they have the little windows like you're looking out a port and there's a storm happening.
yeah,
Every booth has that, and it's the winged plane from the guy on the plane. There's
Man on the
somebody on the
Wing, yeah.
wing.
You could have so many cool things with that theme. I think.
There's a lot to do there.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah, I
another
love it.
name called Suds to Nuts. I didn't have a theme for Suds to Nuts, but it's like soup to nuts, beginning to end. But
Mhm.
other than that,
Maybe nuts to suds.
nuts to
perhaps.
Suds.
I don't know.
Suds on your nuts. And there's something there. We can
Yeah.
workshop that, but
Yeah. Absolutely.
or we just do a convincing idiots bar.
I like that too.
No matter what you order, you just really hope that we get it right, but we normally don't. So you just fucking handle with whatever we give you.
Yeah, it's like every third to fifth experience is okay.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, other weeks it's like,
I don't know
Just
if I
sorta
would
here for-
subscribe to it, but it was fine for what I went and saw.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like
top
that.
the eighth. Guardians 2-run homer.
Okay.
Now down only by one. Josh
Okay.
Taylor.
There you go. Get your live sporting scores
4
right
days
here on the
late.
podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. Well, one other place too that's I know there's still kind of like we're workshopping themes and names of a future bar or a restaurant or something like that. Our friends at Golden Heart Tattoo kind of doing the same. Have they landed on a new name yet? I don't even know that they have yet. Okay, so they're still going with Golden Heart Tattoo, which is a fine name. They may change it, they may not. But they still, even as a new name, a new location, they still do great tattoo work and wonderful art. So go check them out. You can still find them on Facebook at Golden Heart
Name or
Norton.
no
Go ahead, Dean.
Name or no name, excellence is the theme.
That's right. I like it. Give them a call, 234-706-2982. And couldn't say it better than Dean just now. So there you have it. All right. We're taking another break.
Another break.
I'm going to come back with our main topic this evening. We have actually music-themed episodes here of late. And we got into a topic just during normal discussion recently, Dean, and that topic, I mentioned I went to go see the Judas Priest concert and how much I enjoyed Rob Halford, and that conversation got us to our next topic, which we will tell you all about right after the break.
I am the master of metal and I bring you. You'll take my life, but I'll take his too. Bon Jovi. Scorpion. Whitesnake, Accept, Motorhead, Rush, and Saxo. Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, and Dio. Devastating, decibel-laden, no-messing metal from the master of metal. Get it now.
3, 2.
Segment 3 of Convincing Idiots, episode 189. We are here to celebrate me. No, we're not. No, that's again. I think that's listed for next week. Stay tuned. Now, this week our main event topic, Brian, is what the heavy metals. We are heavy metal fans. We are rock and roll fans. So we've done our top, bands, but we've yet to do our top lead lead singer, frontman, if you will. So that's what we're going to do. This is our Mount Rushmore of frontmen, rock and roll. Now, with our discussion between shows here, Brian, I am clear that this is rock and roll. Or are we sticking with heavy metal or
any combination of rock, hard rock, metal?
Okay,
just that genre. So just not pop rock or country. We could, this is just rock.
Okay,
whatever you want about rock. How about that?
Okay, so all 5 can be Fred Durst.
Sure, of course.
Okay, all right.
I would expect at least one, of course. Yeah.
Well, let me adjust. Okay, all right. So, with this being your topic, your idea, your brilliant idea, sir, you should probably kick us off here in the main event.
Yeah, I'll start out with a metal singer, one of the greatest metal singers, hard rock singers, in my opinion. Unfortunately, lost him a few years ago. I did have the privilege of seeing him sing
Hope y'all
live.
can find him.
I've seen him a few times, and just what you heard on the albums that he sang was what you heard live. Really amazing. Small stature, but huge voice. Ronnie James Dio.
Yes.
On my list. So Dio sang solo certainly for many, many years. He also sang with Black Sabbath. So there's some Black Sabbath albums. They kind of went by the moniker Heaven and Hell, after Ozzy left the band. They brought him, another guy for one album, but Dio sang a couple albums with them. So just a great vocalist. Love him. Lost him too soon. But
sure.
Yep, on my list.
All right. Well, that's a good way to kick it off, Brian. I'm going to kick it off. And remember, people, this isn't a definitive fucking list. We're idiots. This is our personal list, our personal Mount Rushmore. We have not got together and collectively decided this. With that said, my number one, not necessarily number one, but he is the first one I'm going to say on my Mount Rushmore. Chris Cornell.
Yep.
Lead singer of Soundgarden. If you can give me a better, just pure rock voice, that high-pitched rock voice, with the tones that he could hit, and then he could go drop down and do the really soft fucking stuff. He was just brilliant. Again, another one gone too soon. It's a fucking shame because he had everything ahead of him still, and he had been doing it for what 30 years.
Yep.
Chris Cornell, like Dio, he did his solo stuff. I think I brought him up a couple weeks ago when we did cover songs.
Yep, you did.
His cover of Billie Jean is just ridiculous. Look that up. But again, what he did with Soundgarden to have, to bring what he did with the grunge sound.
Yep.
That was different than a lot of the other grunge sounds. But still, held his part, did his role. Chris Cornell, number one on my list.
Great start. Yeah, that Soundgarden album, man, Black Hole Sun, and
so amazing.
Man, just that album defined that summer of 1994. Yep. That's the year I moved out.
94.
Moved in. That's right. Yeah.
I'm telling
moved in with my buddy Jim. We got our apartment together. He had that CD. And it just had that whole, and that was sort of new music for us at the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
what you guys were feeling like hair band and shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Really holding on to
shit.
Yeah, that was like, this is new music, but this is fucking good. And really, it was his vocals, man.
Incredible.
Yeah, just a shame. We got another guy we lost way too soon. It's a real shame. But yeah, he definitely left us with some great vocals, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to give you Steve Perry of
course,
Journey. So just I think back of just do I love every Journey song? Not necessarily, certainly, but his voice, though, man, I'm thinking of vocalists when I hear them sing, it's just like, man, that person is just so good. Yes,
you hear his voice, your ears go, oh, okay,
yeah,
because like you said, now a lot of people, are probably like you. Not all the Journey songs are gold, but the ones that are gold are fucking gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like everybody loves that. All of those songs. So when you hear him, just a small town, you're okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Just booming voice. Another guy that could sing.
Yep.
When you see recordings of him live and everything. Yeah, just so good. Personally, seemed like kind of a douchey dude, whatever, but but still, he could sing.
We could probably say that about the majority of these this list here.
That's right. And
it's
not
going to
many
be millions of dollars to sing in front of other people.
I would venture to guess probably the only vocalist on our list that was in a fucking video game. I'll bet you. I remember the Journey video game where you could play.
There was a Journey video game?
Oh man, they were
I did
huge,
not know this.
Man. It was it was in a Separate Ways album era. So this is like Open Arms and all that stuff, just really huge stuff. And they had a video game, and it was like their face, pictures of the Journey doing stupid stuff, but you could play a video game as members of Journey. Had a Atari 2600 video game, which was one of the worst video games ever created and to play, but it was there.
Sure.
So,
okay.
Yeah, huge back in the day.
Did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to go a little farther back than what we have already.
Sure.
And I'm going to go Jim Morrison of The Doors.
Yeah.
One of the original, what do you want to call, bad boys? Before punk was a thing, he was getting arrested for lewdness on stage.
Yep.
I mean, the drugs and alcohol, the let's go back to what we'd said about the other guys, and which will be a running theme, I think, through all of this. The voice.
Yep.
His presence. I mean, he was the original, faulty rock and roll frontman.
Sure.
He was passed out on stage frontman. Again, taken too soon, if you believe that sort of thing.
That's right. Yep.
I'm just saying there's conspiracy theories that he faked his own death.
Yep.
If you look into that, that's a fascinating rabbit hole to go down also. But yeah, Jim Morrison, The Doors. I think every teenage boy goes through different phases of rock and roll, and The Doors is one of them, I believe.
Yeah.
I know it definitely was for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got into The Doors. Like my dad had some albums or something like that, and then the whole Doors movie with Val Kilmer, one of his greatest roles he ever played, my opinion. Just a fascinating dude. You're right. And got the Doors banned from the Ed Sullivan shows. They didn't want him to sing. Girl couldn't get much higher.
Right.
And then so he purposely looked right in the camera and sang it and gave it an extra punch, like "fuck you, Ed Sullivan" and everybody, and that was it.
He was the original
was a rock and roll dude,
rock and roll artist.
Yep. Good one. All right, so I'm going to give you Freddie Mercury,
of course,
Queen. Again, just one of the. I don't know what else to say. Just a sheer talent,
performance artist.
Yeah, the guy was just amazing. Certainly could write songs and everything else as well, and just
the range of his voice is insane.
Absolutely. So Just a
He's one of those-
fascinating presence. Go ahead.
I was going to say that he's one of those that I didn't put on the list, knowing that one of you two would have.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of thought of that. I'm like, all right, I want to, try to get a little different, because if we thought about actually 100% who should be on this list, we'd all probably have roughly the same list. So I tried to, but he was definitely one that I've been like, well, of course he should be on the list.
Yep. Absolutely. This is such a unique sound and everything else. I just don't know what to say. Like you say, just an ultimate showman, flawless vocals, powerful, played piano. Again, like you said, showmanship. Checked all the boxes of what is it that you would like to have in a lead rock singer. Top to bottom, might be the old time best. Arguably.
Absolutely.
Right. So there you have it.
Well,
who else you got?
When you say arguably, well, you use those words because there's a gentleman like this who's next on my list that is definitely on that up there with him, and that's Ozzy Osbourne himself from Black Sabbath.
Yep.
Again, we don't have to say enough about the voice and the range, but he had the presence, the accolades, and even what he did, in his. I know we're talking about bands, but his solo career and what he's done pop culturally.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 25 years, right?
Sure.
Ozzy Osbourne went from the nation thinking he is a satanic bat-eating maniac to everybody's favorite grandpa.
That's right.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Yep. Yeah, and not many. Matter of fact, Ozzy is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year, Dean, as a solo artist. I don't know if you saw that or not. So
yeah, that is insane. That I would have thought it would already happen. That was confusing.
No, that's right. But there's not many artists that had great success in not only a band but also as a solo act. There's definitely been some, but not many. And so and if you talk about hard rock and metal, the list is even smaller that has a very successful solo career. I mean, Dio did have some success in Black Sabbath and as a solo, but not at the same level as Ozzy.
There are people probably out there that doesn't know Ozzy Osbourne was in a band.
That's probably right. They know of him. You know the name. You know who he is, right? So, and he's got some just great stuff. Sort of battled drug addiction, everything else he had to fight through. But man, there's so many good albums and songs. His solo stuff is just. It's hard to argue. One minute you say Black Sabbath was better, the next minute you say Ozzy had some great solo stuff. You could really go back and forth of what his best stuff is.
There's some things where I even stand. I'm like, wait a minute, is that just Black Sabbath or is that his solo stuff? Some of it's blurred. Yes, there's some older stuff that you definitely can, that's just Ozzy, but there's some of his early Ozzy stuff that you blur a little bit.
Right. 80s did his thing. 70s, 80s, 90s. He changed his look a little bit, that type of thing, to go with the times a little bit. But he's going to give you an Ozzy Osbourne sound and song and everything else, and that's just it. You know what you're going to get with him. Fantastic. And
if you would have polled 1,000 people in 1983 and said, do you think Ozzy Osbourne will be alive in 2024?
No, absolutely not.
1,001 people would have said, of course not. I'm not even surprised. Yeah. I don't even think he's going to be alive at the end of this year.
You're right about that. Just a maniac.
Yeah.
But
and now
good for him.
America's grandpa. God bless him.
There you have it. That's great. Well, the man that started this whole idea, I talked about seeing him a couple of weeks ago with Allie. and I said that he would be on my list about all-time Mount Rushmore hard rock singers. Rob Halford from Judas Priest. Man, and again, a lot of people know the mainstream, a few songs by Judas Priest, and those vocals are great. But if you go back and listen, there's so many deep cuts of Judas Priest that are just excellent songs that never got the mainstream airplay, like, Living After Midnight, this and that. I mean, those are still good songs, but his range also is just phenomenal, man. Just great,
I think
great
Judas
stuff.
Priest was in a brief period that hurt them because of the whole 80s satanic scare of pop culture, where these metal bands were the devil, right?
Sure.
Judas Priest, Ozzy Osbourne himself, these guys were satanic music. And if that wouldn't have been the case, I think more people could have experienced those tracks that you're talking about and really enjoyed and appreciated what there was. And bands like that, Judas Priest and Rob Halford, could have been so much bigger than what they were.
I agree with that. They did finally get into the Hall of Fame last year as a performing act as well. So at least they got in and to represent metal, which is certainly well deserved. But yeah, if you like hard rock and metal, if you know some Judas Priest, that's great. Just go back and listen to some of the deeper cuts of Judas Priest. I'm sure there's probably essential playlists out there that have deeper cut stuff, but just you will be pleasantly surprised with the different vocals that Rob Halford has to offer, along with the whole Judas Priest band. But what else you got, Dean?
All right, number 4 on my list. I don't think all of us would have this on here, but this is a personal favorite of mine.
Sure.
I actually just bought the vinyl record I found in the record store. I'm going Serge Tankian from the lead singer of System of a Down.
Wow. Okay.
Now he's on my list for a couple different reasons. One, again, I don't know how much you know of this System of a Down. But the vocal range for that dude is off the chart as well.
Okay.
And they were in that group of late 90s, early 2000 bands that had more of a I don't want to call it protest-esque, a style of music and fuck the system type bands. So they, culturally they played their part, and they played a big part in that. Musically, if you listen, like I've listened to obviously every album they have, and he's just he is a frontman through and through. His voice to his presence, but instead of, he may have done his share of partying. I don't know, but it's more of like activist type thing. So it's that different style, different idea, but still you have that metal, feel to it. That, if you haven't heard much of them, Brian, I suggest you dive into that as well.
Okay, sure.
System of a Down.
Yeah, I probably would know some songs if I heard them. I know the name of the band, but I couldn't sit here and tell you.
Dude, pull up the
offhand.
album Toxicity.
Okay.
Listen to it front to back. A, you'll know some of the songs, but B, it's just lyrically, vocally, the music itself, it's just fantastic. It is one of my, and we could do a episode on that, or topic on that, is, cover front to, albums front to back. What albums could we sing along with from the first lyric to the last? And that is one of mine.
Very good. Excellent. My last one, my fifth one, Robert Plant.
Yep.
Led Zeppelin. One of the few guys that really, one of the few artists that, I mean, certainly others have too, but certainly in Led Zeppelin, he was humongous. And as we all know, Led Zeppelin stopped performing as a band after John Bonham died. But he went out and did some pretty solid solo stuff in the 80s. Right, very like soft. I shouldn't say soft, right? Light rock type stuff that was very, very good stuff.
Especially compared to Led Zeppelin.
Yes, absolutely, but still good. And he's sort of reinvented himself. He goes out and sings like folk type stuff these days
I've
and all
heard
that.
it's good. Like I'm a folk guy. I'm a folk guy, and I come up across some of his stuff, and I'm like, really? Is this what we're doing? And I played it, and I'm like, oh shit, this is really fucking good. But you're like, oh, it is Robert Plant. Like, why wouldn't it be good?
Right. I've not listened to it. I'm not against it. I just haven't taken the time to really. He does like it's a duet he does with a female singer. He's been working with her for several years, and touring and different things. So they were just in Cleveland last year as well, I believe, or Chicago Falls and Blossom. But so he still has some success, still touring big. But man, this Led Zeppelin stuff just. Some of the most powerful vocals you're ever going to hear, and again, his range too was just flawless. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my fifth.
All right, my fifth. We've been all over the time chart here. Let's go something a little more contemporary.
Sure.
They've been around for a bit, 20-some years, but it's still contemporary today. Just his presence as a person, along with his presence in the band as a lead singer, Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters.
Sure.
He is at this point he's the elder statesman of rock and roll. He is the flag bearer of rock and roll. Mm-hmm. He is he leads the charge for what rock and roll is in the mainstream, at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, we know about his voice, we know his musical talent. If you listen to him talk just music, it gets to be the nerdiest goddamn thing you ever heard, and it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Just to hear him talk music is insane, and you love it. You get hyped. You're like, fuck, I wish I was a fraction of that smart for anything, let alone for music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters.
Very good. Yeah, you're right. It would definitely a passion.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him. Good for him. So you want to recap your five again?
Chris Cornell, Jim Morrison, Ozzy Osbourne, Serge Tankian, and Dave Grohl.
Very good. I'm surprised we had no overlaps. Our top five: I have Steve Perry, Rob Halford, Dio, Freddie Mercury, which you thought of, and Robert Plant.
Yep.
Any honorable mentions?
I'm going to run through my honorable mentions because you're going to hear a couple of them that are on your list, and I put them in the honorable mentions. Like I said before, knowing that you guys would have them on your actual list. Mm-hmm. Freddie Mercury, Robert Plant, Mick Jagger.
Yep.
Janis Joplin.
Sure.
Not a lot of people think that, but she did have a band, Full Tilt Boogie Band. Roger Daltrey, James Hetfield, Sully Erna of Godsmack, and Jack White of the White Stripes.
Very good.
Any one of them I could have easily been happy to put up on my actual list.
Sure. Yeah, I've got, let's see, honorable mentions. I had to have Elvis, at least on a honorable mention. Certainly known as a performer, but he had some very good vocals. If you go back and listen to some of his stuff, he had a very good range between, even gospel stuff and
if you pull up, if you YouTube some of his stuff of like covers, where he's doing like just studio fucking around covers or stuff on stage that he did of other people's stuff. He did one of I think it was Yesterday from the Beatles. That was ridiculous. Like his voice, especially doing other stuff that he didn't write, it's so good.
Very good. Ann Wilson, Dean from Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Great voice. By the way, Ty, if you haven't have you ever seen her do the Stairway to Heaven version?
I have not.
You know what they did? It was one of those like, I can't think of the award, but it was like the president. It was like a
Kennedy Center,
Center thing or something like that. Because the guys came out, they had the the ribbons and everything. But this particular they had Led Zeppelin that they honored, right? So those guys were actually there, like David Letterman. There were a few for this performance, and she kind of came out and surprised them and did a version of Stairway to Heaven.
Gonna have to look that up.
Look it up on YouTube, dude. And then there's a whole choir and orchestra thing that comes up there, and they cut to the guys in Led Zeppelin, as you'd imagine, frequently, and Robert Plant is tearing up because it's such a powerful version.
I'm actually watch that tonight when we're done.
Yeah, dude, you'll love it, seriously. But her voice in general, just fabulous, powerful, great. Jeff Tate. So I would imagine that Jeff Tate would probably be on Nick's list as well, from Queensryche.
Sure. Right.
So again, just from his sheer vocal talent, one of the greatest ever. His range, some of those old albums of Queensryche in the 80s were just fantastic. Operation Mindcrime, one of Nick and I's favorite albums of all time. He was just great. Stevie Nicks. Not super hard rock, certainly, but from a rock vocalist, certainly she was great. Whole sound and vibe to her voice. Love it. Klaus from the Scorpions.
Oh, okay. Dude, that guy's voice is...
Yeah, man. Guy's 75 years old. They're still, or whatever he is, they're still singing, doing shows in Vegas.
There is I think I've talked about it on the show before, but there is a podcast. It's a special podcast where it's only meant to be 10 episodes, whatever. But it was about Wind of Change.
Yeah.
And how the song got made, what it means. It's an insane story. That song alone is ridiculous. And I guess he recorded it in I'm not even going to say the number because I'll get it wrong, but a lot of different languages. I turned on the Summit the other day, and it happened to be him singing Wind of Change in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
It was so cool. I'm like, what? I know the song, but I've never heard this version.
Yeah.
Very cool. And it was him singing it. And he still hit the notes and the levels. It was very cool.
Yeah, just a lot of Scorpion, a lot of the mainstream Scorpion songs and all that. Even those are great, but he does a lot of deeper cut Scorpion songs. Even
sure,
still some of the best live performances ever saw was Scorpions to this day. And again, those guys play great, and he sings great live. Just awesome. I also had Chris Cornell, Dean, Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane.
Mm-hmm.
And then later to Jefferson Starship. But again, just another super powerful rock voice. I also had Mick Jagger and Ozzy Osbourne on my list. That's what I had. There's could be plenty more. But,
we missed so many.
Yeah. But pretty solid list, though, I think, all the way around.
And I apologize to viewers or listeners that I lied. Nick is not joining us, obviously. We thought he was going to, but he's not. But actually, we might tune in next week. In our opening segment, when we asked what the fuck we did or that anybody cared, I'm going to make him give us his list because I am very curious. I was excited about all of our lists for this. So I'm going to make him read us quickly in the beginning of next episode his list of lead rock singers.
Absolutely. I'm surprised you didn't have the Beatles.
You know what? Here's the thing: is if you look at the Beatles, there wasn't one lead singer. I mean, there were two, but all of the other band members had songs that they sang. Like Ringo has songs that he did lead for. When they're doing live shows, Paul and John were standing next to each other, so that's why I didn't put them on. I did debate it, but there wasn't one that stood out in front of the other.
Okay,
it is very arguable who is the lead singer of the Beatles. I think you would, again, the 1,000 people thing, you go 50-50.
Yeah. I almost put John Lennon on my list when I think about more of the rock
I saw that on other people's lists.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, to me, I would, if I had to pick, I go Paul.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's up the air. I'm going to go around asking people. That's a good question to ask people. Who do you think the lead singer? And if anybody says Ringo, you don't need that sort of negativity in your life. You can just stop being friends with them. So,
and there's certainly plenty of other performers that when you talk about, just sheer front people, front persons, front people of a band, right, would certainly edge up, but not necessarily from a vocal talent perspective. It seems like we edged out the vocal talent, maybe, more than the physical presence out there on the stage. Is that fair to say?
That is, like, I did consider, looking at mine, I did try to, like, incorporate a couple different things. I just didn't try to stick with one thing.
Sure. Because
if you're going, like, strictly voice, there's some that we definitely left off. But sorry, the cat is making a ruckus over here. But if you're talking about, like you said, strictly stage presence, you're going to have a different list.
Right.
So, I mean, there's so many different things to think about in this category. That's why I found this to be so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a David Lee Roth would be a good front man.
Yep.
But vocally, just not as good as some of the other performers that we had on our list, for instance. So, okay. All right, very good. Well, also, Dean, we talk about sheer performance and talent. We can't leave off our final friends, our sponsor. Yes.
You're not talking about me. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. RPM Bike Shop, Dean. So located in historic, musical Carrollton, Ohio. What do you think music in the Ohio area?
Think Carrollton.
It's going to be in the top, 4,000 cities of Ohio, something like that.
Made the list.
Yeah, sure. Yes, absolutely. That's right.
There's somebody singing on a corner somewhere.
Sure. I don't doubt it.
And if they do, they're probably singing about RPM Bike Shop.
That's right. That's right. You can find them on Facebook, RPM Bike Shop, online. You can also give them a call to 330-808-7792.
You tell them that you came here to ride a bike because the musical stylings of Brian Fisher sang into your ear holes and told you that you need to experience, to live the life of RPM Bike Shop.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
I was a professional wrestling manager in my previous life, I think.
There you go. There you go. No encore for this particular episode. I'm afraid. This is it. Episode number 189 is officially in the books. As a reminder, again, you can find us out there on all your major podcast platforms. Give us a like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, rating, review. Find us on our YouTube channel. Find us on our YouTube music channel. Find us on our Linktree page. Find us on our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com.
Find us in your mom's bed.
That's right. That's right. Now, there are some encores there, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, not for me. I'm too old. I want to get what's the main performance? I have to have fluids. I gotta maybe get a sandwich. I can't come back straight up. Come on.
And have we convinced you to rock and roll all night and listen to us idiots every week?
Ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas has left the building.
Hi, this is Millennial Nick, along with Gen X Brian and Zennial Dean. Hey, if you liked that video, which we really hope you did, you should like and subscribe. That would be great.
Ham gravy.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to want to tune in this week to Convincing It.
Okay.
I mean, it's the name of the show. You'd think out of everything I would fuck up, that wouldn't be part of it. But here we are.